I am stoked to talk about this topic today because it is about condescending pricks. And you know who you are. Hi, my name's Nick. I run this channel. Please subscribe. Anyways, let's get into it. So in MTG finance and in Magic lingo, there is a term for people. Well, I guess the term has two different meanings. And so let's get into it. It's a Timmy. It is a Timmy. And in fact, there's an article on the Magic website written by Mark Rosewater back in 2013 about what a Timmy is. And so Timmy here is a profile for the kind of person that wants to play big splashy creatures, likes playing big green mana, the power gamer, likes to win big. It's funny because unironically, I think I am a Timmy. When I play, I do want to win big. And I want to win in a direct manner. Like I want to attack to win. I do not want to, combo off or whatever in some kind of clever way. I want to win because my opponents know that they can't get out of, 18, 10-10s attacking with trample or whatever. So that's me. I'm technically a Timmy. But then there's a Timmy in the MTG finance term, which is a little different. And the reason I think they relate is because a Timmy in the MTG R&D terminology, like I just described, that Timmy is known to commonly be younger, be less mature. I'm just outing myself. And so the MTG finance community has taken that term for Timmy being a big splashy green player and commandeered it to mean essentially somebody who lacks patience, who doesn't have the foresight to see how prices are going to change. They're often somebody who sells at the low and they buy at the high. They are the game piece army. And I'm going to get into all these terms and dive into the explanations, but it's just really interesting, this term Timmy. It gets me thinking because, like I've talked about before, we're going to think critically, right? What does it mean to critically think? It means to be critical when you think. And it means to be critical of how other people think and how other people act, because it is interesting how ubiquitous it is. I mean, the nicer MTG finance YouTubers or MTG store owning YouTubers or just MTG YouTubers, the nicer ones don't use this term Timmys. They're not rude, whatever. But the more like rough and tough ones that I personally love, I love these people. They are all about, these Timmys, these game piece armies, these fools, blah, blah, blah. And it's just interesting how Timmy is never a good thing. It's always this bad thing. And it always describes these same characteristics, selling quickly, not holding on to products. I don't know. People that have to recoup capital. These are all kind of Timmy behaviors. And so I want to dive into that. I want to critically think about it. So here we go. Here's my little critically thinking about Timmys and who Timmys are in the finance kind of space. So first off, Timmys are part of the game piece army. They think that cards should be cheap. The term game piece army, I'm not sure exactly the origins. It might've been Rudy. But the idea is that just like how if you need to replace a piece in a Monopoly set that you lost or whatever, that piece should be inexpensive and fairly easy to get a hold of. So should your Magic cards, where, if you don't have that Consecrated Sphinx, no card should be above $15, let's say. And most cards should only be $1. And so, no commander deck should cost more than $150 to build. And maybe Game Piece Army would be more aggressive than that. Maybe they'd say every card should be 25 cents. So it's like Magic should be accessible and affordable and super, super cheap. And obviously most people agree, I think, with the first two phrases, right? Magic should be accessible. I think everybody, for the most part, agrees. Yeah, Magic should be accessible and it should be affordable. And people, I think, generally would agree with that too. I guess Magic is a little too broad of a term. Some at the extreme Game Piece Army would say things like collector boxes should be just as cheap as regular booster boxes, and regular booster boxes should be half the price they currently are. And maybe you agree too. And maybe you're part of Game Piece Army. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't. But what's interesting, and I real quick to give credence to the Game Piece Army, and by credence I mean to bash them. The reason this game is fun, and the reason collecting cards is fun is because they are valuable, right? Like if you have a rock collection, it's not fun being like, check out all the rocks that I got from, walking to work or whatever, it's like all your free rocks aren't impressing anybody. They're not that interesting. It's the rocks that you have to really work for. And whether you're working for it by exchanging money for it, or you're working for it by exchanging time for it, which by the way is kind of the same thing. Those are the interesting rocks that you can collect. And it's the same thing with the cards. You can get all kinds of Magic. Guess what? Magic is accessible. Magic is cheap. If you want cheap, there's starter decks, there's intro decks. When you go to a game store, they have like free stuff they can give you. You can get free cheap Magic cards and you can play the game with those and you can have a good time with those. But that's not that interesting, right? What's interesting is having Consecrated Sphinx that you search for with a demonic tutor, and then you're holding up mana drain. Maybe that sounds awful to you, but to me, that sounds really interesting. Of course, you got to have like a lot of mana to play that all in one turn. Like what, 10? Yeah, 10 mana. So the game should be over anyways. Well, anyways, I digress. So when people are talking about Timmys being game piece army, I, as an economist, cannot align myself academically nor in any form with the game piece army. It doesn't make sense for old cards to be cheap. I want my game to have accessibility. I want it to be affordable. And I want it to be expensive as hell sometimes, because that's interesting. That is fun. I don't own a single dual land, by the way, a single revised dual land. I want to someday, but I'm not coming at this from a place of like, haha, I own the cool stuff and like other people suffer, No, that's not it. I think it's cool when I sit down at a Commander game and somebody plays an Underground Sea. It's like, oh yeah, that person made some sacrifices to get that card. And maybe they're a trust fund baby and they didn't actually sacrifice anything. That's fine. It's interesting. It's part of the interesting aspect of the game that some cards are expensive and hard to get. That adds depth to the game, because guess what? If I can beat somebody who owns an Underground Sea with my $100 deck, more power to me, right? That feels so good. And on the other side, if I lose to that deck that has the Underground Sea, it's like, well, they had an Underground Sea. What you gonna do? So that's how I feel anyways. All right. This video isn't about the game piece army, although now we're 7 minutes in and that's what's been about. So continuing on, Timmys buy high, they sell low, which is akin to saying they're just bad at like finance and the money side of things, which is fair. It's supposed to be a derogatory term. You're a Timmy, you buy when it's most expensive and you sell when it's the least expensive it could be. And yes, that's obviously bad practice. What I will say though, is that sometimes buying at the top, like, I guess it's just all relative to people's preferences and what they really want. Now, if you're trying to make money, no, I don't suggest that you go out and buy Secrets of Strixhaven collector booster boxes for $560. Like, I wouldn't suggest that, especially if you're trying to make money quick. So, I think I think everyone would agree that like a stereotypical Timmy behavior would be something like that. You say like, I want to make money and Magic cards appreciate and Strixhaven has, doubled in price in the past like 4 months. So I'm going to go and buy at market price and I will be able to double my money in the next couple months. And that's probably not true. So yes, if we're using Timmy for shorthand as like silly or dumb or uneducated, really, it's not, these people aren't trying to be dumb. They don't understand how it works. Right. So Timmy behavior. Right. Now Timmy's flip, they do not hold, they sell quickly. This one's interesting because there's a lot of money to make selling stuff quickly. There's a lot of money to make selling stuff quickly, even at a loss. And I'll get into that. It's like, Nick, how can you make money selling at a loss? Well, you can make more money than holding at a loss. I mean, think about it. So if you buy a bunch of, let's say like Fallout Secret Layers, and they don't sell out on the Secret Lair website, and you realize like, whoa, this thing is I'm not going to make any quick tendies on these Fallout Secret Lairs, right? If you realize that, you have some choices, right? You can be a Timmy and sell quickly and get 70% of your money back, or You can be like what? Like a good, brave MTG finance person and hold on because it'll go up eventually. I don't know if it's going to go up eventually. Some of these secret layers, some of the secret layers that came out in 2019 are still at like the same price you could have bought them in 2019. so it's not a given that they will appreciate. And then if they do appreciate, when? I mean, some of these haven't even sold out on the secret layer website. When are they going to appreciate? You know, next year, 2 years, 5 years? When guess what? If you let's say you were silly, goofy, you spent $1,000 on a product that just doesn't sell out, is not going to appreciate, is no good. What are your choices? You can hold on to it for who knows how long, let's say like 5 years. And let's say in 5 years that it doubles in price. Wow, that's really cool. You averaged, 20% a year, not too bad. Or you can sell today. You get 70% of your money back, assuming you're able, about that. And then, so you have $700. What can you do with $700 in the next 5 years? What if you buy a collection that's worth $1,000 for $700? You sell it at market, get 850. Let's say you do that 2 more times. Suddenly you have over $1,000. It's like there's so much you can do with money now. And we ignore that when we say like, the good people in finance, they invest, they hold, they don't sell their stuff. It's like, what are we talking about? Isn't this about making money? It's not about sitting on our butt kisses. I mean, it could be like, God bless you investors out there. May your investments treat you well. But for those of us who don't have, tens of thousands of dollars to throw at stuff and just let it sit, it's like, let's do something now. Let's take the money that you have, buy something, and if it appreciates, sell it. And if it doesn't appreciate, sell it, right? And then you try again. And if you know what you're doing, if you're buying smart things, then this can work out for you really well. If you're buying collector booster boxes, if you're buying collections from people at 60, 70%, whatever, if you're buying limited products that have limited print runs, and there's high market desire. Like, the Strixhaven, the Codex bundle was, in hindsight, it's 2020, but it seemed kind of obvious that it's like, oh, this is a highly desired product, this Codex bundle for Strixhaven. People are going to really want this. And I guess it hasn't come out yet, so I guess we'll see. But my understanding is that it is like double, tripled MSRP on the websites. I guess I can look it up. It came to mind. I would have looked this up before if I had this in my script or whatever. Codex bundle. Let's see if it comes up. It does come up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like $200. And I believe this, you could buy it from Walmart at one point for $100. So, doubled in price. It's like there's so many great products that you can kind of throw your money into that do appreciate quickly. And then you can sell those and have the money to, guess what? Buy more stuff that hopefully will appreciate quickly. And if it doesn't, you can sell quickly. But what does this look like? It looks like you're Timmy. I guess you are, right? Because you bought high and you sold low if it depreciates, right? You're a Timmy too, just because you're not holding on to it and you're not letting it appreciate and gain value. When appreciating and gaining value is a luxury for those who have positive cash flow that they can just continue to invest. If you want this to be a side hustle that actually brings money where you're able to take money out of it, then you're not investing. You need to flip. You need to buy and sell quickly. And people will say like, well, yeah, that's the Timmys. Those are what Timmys are like. But this is how most trading card stores operate. And I understand that that's like, they're part of the derogatory term, right? It's like, oh, these Timmys, they own game stores and they bought a bunch of Spider-Man and now they're selling it at a fire sale price and they're a bunch of fools for doing that. What is foolish about, you think a product's going to do well, so you pre-order it. It doesn't do well. All right. Sell it, get some money, move on to the next thing. Like we've already established that you're much better off as a business that's actively trying to make money, selling at a loss just to get that money so that you can reinvest it in something that's going to do better, like Lorwyn or Secrets of Strixhaven or even TMNT. Honestly, if you got those collector booster boxes at distribution prices, they're not doing too bad now. They're like $400, which isn't like incredible, crazy, amazing, but you'd make money if you got them at roughly distribution prices. So yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, what are we doing? We're like, oh, those Timmy game stores trying to like pay their rent and payroll and stuff. I mean, is this like poor shaming? You know, is it like, oh, they don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their bankroll that they could just float hundreds of Spider-Man collector booster boxes? Like, what, they're selling them to Rudy for $240 each or whatever it was? Like, those people are idiots. It's like, it feels like they're completely reasonable store owners that are actually doing what makes sense. You know, like, how did we turn like reasonable behavior into like, no, these people are actually complete fools, right? There's a big difference between what I described as like buying at the tippy top hype cycle and selling right after it crashes completely. There's a big difference between that and buying a product that looks like it's going to do good, building your allocation as a store, working with your distribution partners, and then it doesn't work out, so you got to sell to like get money to try the next thing. You know, there's a huge difference. I want to talk a little bit about too the Timmy behavior of race to the bottom, right? Because it's like, oh, you know, racing to the bottom is like such a dumb thing to do. Let me tell you, from experience, there is so much money to be made racing to the bottom. I know this from selling secret layers. I know this, I guess, mostly from selling secret layers. So, SpongeBob Secret Lair came out, and at the time I had the bandwidth to open up a bunch of them and sell the singles. And I also thought that'd make more money, which I guess it did, because I opened up the special counterspell, the counterspell that has the like upper to the camel case letters. Maybe I can look it up. SpongeBob counter. Yeah, here it is. Oh, and this is perfect too, because it illustrates kind of what I'm want to talk about is, yeah, so this counterspell, rainbow foil, secret lair drop, it has the camel case letters. It's a meme. It's pretty cool, pretty funny. I opened this up and I didn't realize what I had opened at first. I just opened this and I was like, oh, funny. And then I look it up. Now, at the time, this was selling for $800 on eBay. And it wasn't on TCG Player yet. It was selling for $800 on eBay. Wow, I'm surprised how many of these have sold recently, actually. That's crazy. Sorry, as a side tangent. There's like a number that have sold in the past month. It's pretty cool. There's a number listed as well. Anyways, so one had sold on TCG Player for $800. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this up for auction. Like, let the auction market of TCG Player take the wheel, because I would be jazzed for $800. I'd be jazzed for $200. Like, let's see where the auction goes. It was going to cost extra money to do a 3-day auction, which is what I wanted to do. So I was like, nah, I'll just do the 7-day auction. So I put it up for the 7-day auction, but then I log on the next day and I see the prices are dropping. They dropped from $800 to $700 to $600. And it dawned on me, it clicked. I'm like, this card, the price discovery has not happened yet. People do not know what this card is worth. They do not know how common this card is. More and more are becoming listed every day, and some are selling. It's time to move. I list my card for, I think it was $400 or best offer. And prices were still falling. People are selling these for $500, for $400. Somebody offered me $300 for this card, and I sold it. I sold it and shipped it as quickly as I could. And before the card got to the person, there were copies of this selling for $200. That is the race to the bottom. And I came out ahead. I was one of the last people, one of the only people to sell mine for more than like $200. And it was because I was willing to race to the bottom. And obviously that's not fun. Like, yeah, I wanted to sell it for $800, whatever. I wanted to sell it for $10,000, but it wasn't that rare. And the supply was going to outstretch the demand up to a certain point, and now it's still a $170 card, and that would still be sweet to sell it for $170. I mean, who doesn't want to open up a $170 card in a secret lair? But I was blessed to be able to sell mine for $300 because I was willing to race. And so, you know, what was I a Timmy? Was I a Timmy? What was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to hold on? The price will go up. The price will go up one day. You know, it's like, I don't think so. I think it's a $170 card, and I think it's going to be a $170 card for a long time. And so Anyway, what am I doing? Am I projecting? Am I truly a Timmy? Do I feel like offended and attacked, and that's why I need to defend myself? Absolutely. My ego's on the line, and I will fight till my last breath to defend me and every red hair I've got. But in all seriousness, it's just fascinating. It is fascinating, the terms we throw around, the judgment we put on people. And I think it's like a little condescending sometimes when we're like, oh, they sold their Spider-Man collector booster boxes. Oh, they sold their collector box allocation. Oh, they flipped this. It's like, oh, Timmy behavior. It's like, what if they're doing what's best for them? Right? Everyone's in different situations. And yes, it's really cool to be an investor. I want to be an investor. I've got a couple investments behind me. I mean, they're really collections because I don't intend on selling them even in 5 years, but not everyone can be an investor. Some people have to be flippers, and that's not Timmy behavior. That's just part of the economic reality, which is that you can make more money now by selling now than you can make money now by not selling anything now. So anyway, interesting stuff. I hope I don't come across as, like upset or anything. I feel like I'm smiling a lot. People know that I'm in good spirits, but, just passionate about this stuff. And I think that it is impassionate to be not inclusive in the dumb way, but inclusive in the way where it's like, yeah, there's different people that feel different ways and have different financial situations. And what is best for some people is to be a flipper, is to be a quote unquote Timmy. So anyways, and of course, I just learned that I'm a Timmy according to Mark Rosewater, and I'm very defensive about that. So anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.